If you think celebrities who speak against this White House get away with it quietly, watch what happened when this one did it in 2 words. The briefing room podium is empty for 11 seconds before Karoline Leavitt walks back to it. Not a scheduled break, not a technical pause. 11 seconds where the cameras stay live and the correspondents stay in their seats, and the room holds the particular silence of people who witnessed something and are waiting to find out what happens next. It starts, as most things that detonate quietly start, with a statement nobody expected Melania Trump to issue. It ends with 2 words from a woman who has been famous longer than Karoline Leavitt has been alive. 2 words delivered without a microphone, without a prepared statement, without a communications team, in a register so flat and final that the producer monitoring the feed in the control room said she had to replay the audio twice to confirm she heard it correctly. But the beginning of this story isn't the briefing room. The beginning is a joke told on a Thursday night in April, and a first lady who decided, for the first time, to answer back. Jimmy Kimmel delivers the line on April 24, 2026. It is not buried in the monologue. It is the anchor joke of the cold open, the one the writers have sharpened longest, the one placed in the position of maximum exposure, the one that will be clipped and circulated and played on rival network morning shows before Kimmel's studio has finished striking the set. "Look at Melania," he says, gesturing to a photograph on the screen behind him. "So beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you glow like an expectant widow." The studio laughs. The clip is online in 4 minutes. By morning, it has 14 million views and a response from the White House that nobody anticipated. Not from the press secretary, not from the communications director, not from a Trump social media post at 2 a.m., from Melania herself, directly. In her own name, calling on ABC to take a stand. This is the moment that changes the temperature of everything that follows. A sitting first lady publicly demanding a network act against a late-night host is not standard operating procedure. It crosses a line that even the most aggressive White House communications operations have historically observed. Not out of deference to entertainment, but out of the tactical understanding that engaging directly with comedy elevates it, gives it weight, hands it a second news cycle it would never have generated alone. The Melania statement does not observe that line. It names Kimmel. It is named ABC. It uses the word stand in the sense of a moral position being demanded of an institution. The scaffolding of normal White House media relations is not bending under this statement. It is being dismantled, piece by piece, live, in Melania's name. And the people who understand how these things work are watching it happen with the expression of engineers watching a structure fail in a way the blueprints said was impossible. ABC issues a response. Kimmel issues a response. Measured, direct, unbothered. The response of a man who has been doing this for long enough to know that the worst thing you can do when a White House attacks you is perform distress. The story runs for 36 hours on its own momentum. Every entertainment outlet, every political outlet. The cable news debate format. Was Kimmel wrong? Was Melania right to respond? What does it mean that the First Lady is now personally engaging late-night television? It fills the bandwidth efficiently, the way controversy always does, until the bandwidth is filled by something else. That something else arrives from a direction nobody was tracking. Cher has been watching. This is the fact that the story needs to account for. The variable that no communications team modeled, no rapid response protocol anticipated, no briefing prepared for. Cher has been watching the Melania statement circulate, has been watching the Kimmel response, and has been watching the network debate unfold across the platforms she uses with a frequency and directness that continues to surprise people who expect celebrities of her generation to engage with social media at a measured remove. She does not engage at a measured remove. She has not engaged at a measured remove since before most of the people currently working in the White House were born. She posts at 11:14 a.m. The post is not a paragraph. It is not a thread. It is not a statement issued through a publicist or a carefully constructed rebuttal with supporting documentation. It is 2 words, written in the direct address second person, aimed without decoration at Melania Trump's statement, at the demand it contained, at the position it staked in the ongoing war between this White House and the entertainment industry that has been refusing serially and loudly to go quiet. "Honey, please." The post sits on the platform for 3 minutes before the first wave of shares begins. By the end of the first hour, it has been shared 200,000 times. By the end of the second hour, 400,000. By the time the Today Show runs its morning segment on it the following day, the number is in the millions, and the 2 words have been translated into 14 languages by users who wanted the people in their countries to understand exactly what happened and why it mattered, and why the brevity of it was the entire point. "Honey, please." carries more weight than a paragraph because of what it doesn't include. There is no argument inside it. There is no counter-evidence. There is no appeal to principle or precedent or the history of first ladies engaging with comedy. There is only the sound of someone who has been in the public eye since 1965. Someone who survived the 1960s, the 1970s, the 1980s, who has been called irrelevant and been proven wrong about that so many times it has become its own genre of journalistic embarrassment. Looking at a statement issued by the White House and responding with the two words that remove every pretension from the enterprise without needing to name a single pretension specifically. The scaffolding falls not because it was attacked. It falls because someone walked up to it, looked at it, and said please in the tone of someone who has seen better constructed scaffolding collapse under less weight. Karoline Leavitt walks into the briefing room at 2:15 p.m. The Cher post has been live for 3 hours. Every correspondent in the room has seen it. Several of them have it open on the devices in their laps. The briefing begins with infrastructure policy, a segment on port tariff negotiations that runs 12 minutes and proceeds without incident. Then the first question lands, from a reporter in the third row, delivered in the even tone of someone who has been waiting with appropriate professional patience. Karoline, the Cher post this morning. 2 words responding to the First Lady's statement about Kimmel. Does the White House have a response? Leavitt's expression does not change immediately. The change comes 2 seconds later, which is long in briefing room time, long enough for every camera in the room to capture the processing happening behind the composure. She delivers the response she has prepared. Celebrities weaponizing their platforms. A First Lady who is defending dignity. The entertainment industry's long record of targeting this administration. The words are the right words. The structure is correct. But the room, correspondents who have sat in that room across multiple administrations, who can read the temperature of a briefing the way sailors read weather, registers something in the delivery that the prepared language is working too hard to conceal. The scaffolding is visible. You can see where the supports are placed because you can see where the structure would fall without them. A second question. Does the White House believe Cher's response was out of line? I think the American people can judge for themselves what is and isn't appropriate. A third question from the left side of the room before the sentence finishes landing. Cher said 2 words. The First Lady's statement was 3 paragraphs. Is there a concern that the brevity of the response made it more effective? Leavitt pauses. This is the pause that the clip focuses on when it circulates. Not the 11-second gap, not the walk back to the podium, but this pause, 2 seconds, maybe 3, in which the briefing room holds itself in the silence of a space that has asked a question it knows is unanswerable by the person standing at the podium. Not because the person is unqualified, because the question contains a structural truth that no prepared answer can absorb without confirming it. Saying yes confirms that 2 words defeated 3 paragraphs. Saying no requires defending the proposition that a shorter, funnier, more culturally resonant response was less effective than a formal White House statement, and defending that proposition in a room full of journalists is not a defensible position. I think we're done with this topic, Leavitt says. She looks down at her notes. She moves to the next item. A reporter in the second row attempts a follow-up. Leavitt does not look up. The camera in the center of the room, the one that has been on her face throughout, holds for 4 seconds on the top of her head while she reads from the next briefing point. Then it cuts to wide. 11 seconds later, for reasons that no one in the room can immediately identify, she steps back from the podium, not off camera. She remains in frame, but the step back is visible, 6 inches, maybe 8, enough to create distance between herself and the microphone that the room and every camera in the room immediately registers as a physical statement. I need space from what just happened. The clip runs from the third question through the step back, 47 seconds total, no narration required, no caption necessary. The geometry of it. A 2-word post from a 78-year-old woman with a laptop, defeating a 3-paragraph statement from the White House in the court of public attention, measured live in a briefing room by the visible difficulty of the person charged with defending the statement, tells the complete story without assistance. By 6 p.m., "Honey, please" is a hashtag in 11 countries. By 8 p.m., graphic designers have put it on T-shirts. By midnight, it is the caption under photographs that have nothing to do with Cher or Melania or Karoline Leavitt. Images of absurd authority, images of overreach, images of institutional power attempting to suppress something that cannot be suppressed. All of them carrying the same 2 words because the 2 words now contain a meaning larger than their origin. Trump posts at 1:33 a.m. The post is long. It mentions Cher's album sales. It mentions her age. It uses the phrase low ratings in a context that does not apply to a person who is not a television program. It does not address the 2 words. It does not address the briefing room pause. It does not address the step back. The post is screenshot and placed beside the 2 words on split screens across every platform by 1:35 a.m. The White House issued no further statement on the Kimmel joke, the Melania response, the Cher post, or the briefing room moment. The scaffolding that was visible in the pause and the step back and the 11 seconds of empty podium is not repaired in any subsequent briefing. It stands as it stands, visible to anyone who watched, permanent in the record, requiring no further commentary from anyone. Honey, please. 2 words. 47 seconds of briefing room footage, and a question that the official response never answered, and the midnight post never addressed, and the subsequent silence has been answering, slowly and completely, every day since. After everything you just saw, ask yourself one thing. What else has been hiding behind the noise? Subscribe and turn on notifications, because this story isn't over. It's just getting started.